beauty to the world. Good vibes, laughter and shout outs, show it to the world. Always follow the footsteps of our Lord. All roads that I shall walk on, sowing seeds of peace. This light that keep us shining will be brighter and brighter. Oh, will be brighter and brighter. Oh, will be brighter and brighter.
Sing this song along with me. Just open up your hearts. Feel harmony and peace inside yourself. Life is a great school, teaching always to do good. Learning that in order to be happy, we need to help. Learning to accept that everyone deserves respect. Uniting all their hearts with a gesture of affection. Finding our happiness will be spreading joy. There is no other way. Charity is the solution. Only one love, only one ideal. So love and peace in the world. Conquer us. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear. And the world will be in peace. Sing this song along with me. Just open up your hearts. Feel harmony and peace inside yourself. Life is a great school, teaching always to do good. Learning that in order to be happy, we need to help. Learning to accept that everyone deserves respect. Uniting all their hearts with a gesture of affection. Finding our happiness will be spreading joy. There is no other way. Charity is the solution. Only one love, only one ideal. So love and peace in the world. Conquer us. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear. And the world will be in peace. Only one love, only love ideal. So love and peace in the world. Conquer us. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear. And the world will be in peace.
We are free to sow, but the harvest is never late. Times fly and there's no turning back. Let's go planting, the land is great. We are called to work. Let's get it started now. Let's seize this special chance. The workers of the last hour, Jesus Christ is light. Brother, friend, he announced it for all the time that comes over. Now we have in hands His Spiritist love. Spiritist love. In Jesus Christ we have example of love, peace, trust. We'll learn alongside Him that the Christians never get slaved. We are called to war. Let's get started. Let's get started now. Let us seize this special chance. Workers of the last hour, Jesus Christ is light. Brother, friend, he announced it for all the times that goes over. Now we have in hands His Spiritist love. His Spiritist love. Love. When life lends a hand, it's time to open up your heart. It is time to love one another. It's time to take part. Vibrate our ways, loving and sharing everyone. Love, vibrate our ways, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate our ways, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate our ways, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality, when we join Jesus for eternity. Source of love that radiates, warming up our cold nights, support and comfort, support and comfort, as days flow down the mountain, calling the children of earth with love in their hearts, with love in their hearts. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. For my mother Zephyrina, harvest of wonderful blessings. Make your small son a good Christian. Make your small son a good Christian.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place to stay during this time if it's possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A. Following the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. This is an invitation for who wants to learn more about Spiritism. Get to Know to Spiritism is an online and free course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. The next class will be on this Saturday, May 21st, and the theme of this will be vices. What is interested topic, right? If you are interested, join us. The registration will be posted in the chat. We also invite everyone to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from the Spiritism Canada and the Spiritist group Path of Light. And now I invite everyone to join me in our opening prayer. So let's close our eyes, elevate our thought, and think in God. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to be here one more night, one more Tuesday, in order to study about your teachings. We ask your blessing for us, our family, for our friends, and for all the humanity. Please, Master Jesus, we ask you to bless our friend Rodrigo during his presentation, and may we can learn from him. Thank you for everything you have done for all of us, and we ask your protection today and always. So be it. The topic of meeting and of today's meeting is what should be understood by poor in spirit. From chapter 7, Blessed are the poor in spirit, items 1 and 2, which will be facilitated by our brother Rod from Ottawa, Ontario. We also would like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Conference Americas through their Facebook and will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the talk. And now we invite our tonight's speaker. Welcome, Rod.
Hello, Marceline. How
Hi,
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
now the hot weather has come.
yeah. Well, today is not that hot, but
No,
yeah,
yeah.
the past
But
week
it's
was
better
crazy.
than minus 20 degrees,
Oh,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
It's a, I'm very happy to have you here, and we hope you had a good time. Okay.
Thank you, Marceline. Okay, thank you very much to everyone. And again, we will be talking about the gospel according to Spiritism, as announced. Okay, let me just move things around. Okay, great. Ah, bonsoir mes amis. Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de l'Évangile selon le Spiritisme, chapitre 7, Bonjour les pauvres d'esprit, articles 1 et 2. J'ai fait les ouvertures au français pour honorer les parties francophones du Canada. Ne hésitez pas de faire des commentaires et des questions au français sur le chat et à me faire savoir si vous souhaitez avoir une conférence ou un cours entièrement au français. Merci beaucoup et je suis désolé pour mon mauvais français. Merci. I want to thank you, everyone, because we have an audience for all Canada, right? And we have a Canadians who speaks French, and we are trying to introduce the French speaking in our presentations. We also have people watching from other countries like Brazil. Muito obrigado. And as Marcela said, our topic of today is what should be understood by poor in spirit. And I will be talking about items number 1 and 2 from the chapter 7, Blessed are the poor in spirit. And to start, I'm bringing the question from the Book of Spirits, where we have what does the spirit become after its final incarnation, when the spirit reaches his final level of evolution? And then we have the answer, a blessed spirit, a pure spirit. Of course, Jesus is the highest spirit we have, right? We have contact with. And we will adjust during this talking the characteristics of the poor in spirit and trying to show how they are close in many ways to the characteristics of a pure one like Jesus. And when we talk about pure spirits, we also want to understand where they live, and they have elevated sentiments, and all of them augmented and purified. We are talking about the celestial or divine worlds. These are the dwellings of purified spirits, where only good reigns, since everyone who lives there has already reached the summit of wisdom and goodness. And because of that, they are bound with love and fraternity that unites all human. And one of the main characteristics of that is that the strongest help the weakest. And what do we know about that, right? Because if this guy is already up or above, he's helping. We know he's more evolved because he's looking forward to see who is behind and help that to achieve the same level. And if you are above of the rest, the proof of that is that you help those below you. Otherwise, you are just being selfish, right? You're just being alone there. And this is one of the characteristics of the evolution, as we will see during this talk today. And now I invite you to think about yourself, about your acting, because then you will see if you are really above the others, if you are helping them to evolve as well. Then we have the starting point for this talking today, the item 1, when we have Jesus saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Well, the comments we have here is saying many people just believe and made fun of that maxim because for them they think poor in spirits is also connect with lack of intelligence. But by then, Jesus does not mean devoid of intelligence, but the humble. He said the kingdom of heaven is for them and not for the proud. And I can tell you that the poor in spirit recognize their own spiritual poverty. And because of that, they understand their need for God. They need that. They see they are not ready, they are not complete. They didn't achieve that high level as we saw in the beginning as a pure spirit, but they are moving towards that target. And then we can exercise, like we can do that exercise of changing the word poor. Maybe you can just cross this word and change to humble, right? We can say humble in spirit, and then the meaning gets stronger. We can understand some characteristics of that because humble people are not arrogant. They don't want everything just for themselves. They don't need to boost their image because they understand what they are, where they are. They don't need to increase that image. They really say, they think, they act under the truth. When they receive critique or even comments, they don't need to get defensive because above all comments, up or down, they know themselves. They understand they have a lot to be grateful, thankful. They also see the future beyond that, them, and they don't need to keep looking to the past. And because they know their size, they don't need to belittle others, right? Actually, they do the opposite. They're trying to uplift people. They are not jealous. They don't keep judging ones. They understand because they can use their knowledge to understand the other. They know how to be empathetic with another people. They understand the spiritual life, and they don't need to be possessive. And because of that, they are not materialist. They understand the meaning and the importance of the material things, but they don't need to put that above everything. They are not proud, they are not rude, and they are not vain. It means if you can, one of these items, I know they are a lot, they are hard to achieve because we have so many problems in ourselves, but if you can try to evolve, to develop one of them, or as much as possible, maybe we can become humble in spirit. But there is the other side, right? People who thinks because they have certain level of knowledge and intellect. And when I'm saying knowledge, I'm saying that according to the word, not in the spiritual perspective, right? And because those people, they think they are better than others, usually they have such a high opinion of themselves and their superiority that they consider divine things one worthy of their attention because they think they are ready, they know everything, right? And then they put all the attention on themselves. In that specific situation, because they are too focused on themselves, they cannot lift themselves up to God. And this inclination to believe in the selfishness about it quite often leads them to deny anything that might be above them, even the divinity itself, and which could be because that powerful, that divinity could humble them. And sometimes they consent to believing in their divinity, but they contest one of the most beautiful attributes. And I can explain that better because I heard that a lot in my life. Some people who say, well, why should I believe in divinity, or how should I help others? Because I did everything to myself. I never have any help. I was poor and then I become better because I work, because I study. I did everything to myself. I never have any help. Why should I help others? And this kind of thinking is really sad because those people could not consider one of the most beautiful attributes, which is the divine providence. And the divine providence is that acting from God who is helping us all the time. And in many cases, we do not pay attention because we cannot see beyond the very short sight. We don't see their action. We don't see how many help we receive to finish the study, to get the work, or even right now with our healthy, with our condition, the home we have, the food in our table, we don't pay attention and we think that all about us. We forget that God's is everywhere and he can see everything and he allows us to do that, to receive that, to have those characteristics like faith, like hope, the opportunity of charity and love, all the virtue we can learn from him, the patience, the humility. And those people, they think they decide that their intelligence is the standard for the universal intelligence. And that action, that thinking, deeming themselves of capable of comprehend everything. They cannot believe in the possibility of what they do not comprehend. And again, be a poor in spirit make us humble. And because we are that, in that way, with that perspective, we can comprehend more the world around us, not because we are more intelligent, but not, and they cannot understand not because they have less, but just because they don't have enough faith, right? They don't have enough faith. And why is that? Why that's so important? Because faith is an assurance of things hoped for, a conviction of things not seen. We don't need to see everything to have faith. We need to believe in it. Our heart know that. We feel that. If we are open to do that. I like the sentence, the quote from Voltaire when he said, faith consists in believing when it's beyond the power of reason to believe. Yes, this is a part of faith. When the reason it's wear off, there is no more reason to believe in something, and then we still believing. And that acting changes everything because makes everything possible for us. Having faith is believing in God and in ourselves and in the divine providence. And that would have the vision so concerned about themselves, they cannot see that, not because they don't have the capacity, but because their pride make them blind, right? Revolts then against the idea of something above which they cannot place themselves. And if they refuse to believe in the invisible world and in the extra human power, is because they just think, okay, there's nothing more than myself. And say what they may, like everyone else, they will have to enter that invisible world that they now derived. Doesn't matter, right? We all know, as spiritists, we will end all going to the same place as the spiritual world. And because we have the humble people who believes and the pride people who don't, the consequences will be different because they cannot be treated the same way. They are not equal to each other because not only their beliefs, but also because they are acting. God is just, as we know, and cannot be put in the same category as those who scorned the divine power and those who humbly submitted it to the divinely established laws. In starting that the kingdom of heaven is for the simple, Jesus means that no one is admitted into it without the simplicity of heart and humility of spirit. Again, we have that back, the simplicity. humble, humility, right? All those characteristics are so important. The ignorant persons, that ignorant persons who possess such qualities, will be preferred to the learned who believe more in themselves than in God. Well, why is that? Because, again, remember all those characteristics of the poor in spirit, the humble ones? We don't have that, right? All of that. At least I don't have it. I have a lot of steps to go to develop them. But even though if I don't have it, this simple fact I'm trying to develop it, these qualities, will make me less connected to the problems, with less vices, step by step, and be more believer of God, because I will understand better the world around me. I will develop the connection with my brothers and sisters, be more close to them, share the feelings, share the difficulties, and practice the charity. The level we have, the level we can, right? Maybe we cannot do everything, but for sure we can do more. In every instance, Jesus places humility in the category of virtues that bring us closer to God, and pride among the vices that distance us from Him. Again, humility and pride. For sure, we are not on the level of being just humility, but for sure we can be closer to Him every day a little bit more. And there is so many opportunities of practice, right? We can practice right now with our family, with our son, with our daughter, husband, wife, with friends. When we start our working with clients, there is so many ways to practice humility that are countless. And for an obvious reason, humility is an act of submission to God, whereas pride is a revolt against God. Therefore, it is more valuable for people's happiness to be poor in spirit, in earthly sense, and rich in moral qualities. And this is another important aspect, right? We learn from many books, Spiritist books, like those from the Spirit André Luiz, where we see the poor in spirit on earth when living incarnate lives with simplicity, and then after they become a very high level spirits in the spiritual world, because they develop the moral qualities who are necessary to evolve as a spirit being. Good spirits only aid those who serve God with humility and a lack of self-interest. This is another important aspect, right? All of us who try to do some charity, we probably still do not have that embedded with some selfish interest, being seen, trying to maybe show ourselves as a good person to others. But again, the good spirits, they will also work to inspire us to do the good. And again, there is no lack of opportunity. Just look around. See first inside of yourself, and trying to work with your problems, your vices, trying to be a better person. And then inside out, see others, practice patience, try to listen more, speak less, be less proud, be empathetic, try to understand the other person's opinions. And they say the good spirits also repudiate anyone who uses their way of heaven as a stepping stone to earthly things. And they withdraw from the proud and the ambitious. And I'd like to bring another quote here. This time is from Confucius, the Chinese philosopher and politician. And this is interesting because this quote is 500 years before, it's from 500 years before Christ. And it's what? More than 2,500 years ago, Confucius was saying life is simple, but we insist on making it complicated. And that's very, very true. And I like to say Confucius was not dealing with social media, all the technology we have, all this arguing between different sides of politicians, right? Even though in the past he was seeing we were already making our life complicated. And I like to invite you right now to think about it. Like, I want to put a question mark in your mind, because are you making your life complicated right now? Stop and think about it. Like, should we rethink things? Stop some of the things we are doing? And to give you a sample about that, I'm bringing here a picture, right, with the family together in prayer during the moment of a meal. And why I'm bringing this? Because this happened with us all the time, right? We have our breakfast, we have our lunch and dinner, many times with our family, sometimes with friends, which is great. And we should pray all the time. We should be thankful. We should be very grateful. Why is that? Not only because we are all together doing that meal, but because there are so many steps. Like, we have the farmer. We should thank the farmer for planting and harvest. The nature itself, because we have the wind who blow those plants. We have the rain, the sun, which all help that to grow. We have the acting of transportation and delivery, the care of many hands who help that food come to our table. It's a result of the work to acquire it, our work or someone from our family. And once more, we also need to be thankful if we think about those millions of people who are hungry right now. And according to United Nations, 811 million people worldwide are hungry at this very moment. And for all of that, we should be thankful. We should be humble and learn. There is much more in our life than we can see. Just those items like the farmer, the transportation, the nature, all those hands, but there is much more, because there is also the spiritual side of that, who help us all the time with our life, wishing us to succeed, to get the result we are looking for. And we know that not always we will get what we wish, what we desire, but we should pray to get what we need. in many cases can be opportunities to develop better qualities, moral ones, and we should rethink our goals and strategy to become more poor in spirit, as we saw in this chapter. The evening meal is in progress when Jesus rises from his seat and removes his outer clothes. He girds himself with a towel to protect himself. Then he fills a basin with water and proceeds to wash the feet of the disciples before drying them off with a towel. What motivated Jesus to undertake such a selfless deed? The Gospel of John, verses 3 to 5, as Jesus himself put it, "Do you realize what I have done to you? If I, as your Lord and teacher, bathed your feet, then you too should wash the feet of one another. For I have established a pattern for you, and you should follow it in the same way that I have done." In choosing to execute such a menial activity, Jesus provided his apostles with an object lesson that would be etched in their memories for the rest of their lives and serve as an inspiration to them and to us to remain humble in the days to come. And this image of Jesus is one of the most beautiful images we have of someone being humble and showing the path we should follow all the time. And then to finalize my talk today, I'm bringing a quote from Jesus when he said, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." There is no doubt about the importance for all of us to be simple, to be grateful, and learn be a poor in spirit to follow Jesus' teachings. Even though, because as Confucius said, we make our lives very complicated and we need to change that. Not only to make our life easier, but also to find rest for our souls, as Jesus said. Again, I want to thank you for the opportunity, and I'm open for any questions you guys may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rod. It was a really, really amazing talk and lots of teachings. And yeah, may we can learn from your talk today to be a better person, to be humble, and to be a poor in spirit, right? And having Jesus as our example always.
Exactly. And it's really curious because the simplicity is so difficult for
Mm-hmm.
all of us these days, right? Because everything looks so complex. There's so
Yeah.
many options, so many sides. And we need to challenge ourselves to develop all those um, characteristics to
Mm-hmm.
try and be a little bit more poor in spirit and be open to learn from Jesus, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just to let everyone knows that we are having problem with our transmission in Facebook on Facebook. So we are transmitting our talk today on YouTube. And I have a question for you. How is Spiritism understand faith?
Absolutely. Faith, it's very important, not only for Spiritism, but I think it's part of the Christianity in general, right? Where we put ourselves in the opportunity to believe in something beyond our understanding. And for the Spiritism is also important because there is a lot of things that we cannot see through the spiritual world right now as incarnate beings. And we need to have that faith about that. We need to trust in God. And one of the most important parts, as we saw about the faith, is to believe on the divine providence.
Mm-hmm.
And and then we can accept our destiny better, be more patient, humility, knowing that everything who happened with us has a reason for that, right?
Yeah, thank you. For some people, I think it is hard to believe in something invisible that they cannot see, right? But I think the better thing from the faith is just to believe in something you cannot see, and you know that you have someone and you can trust. And I like when you said that we don't need to ask for things, but we need to ask for to be a better person, right? I was reading a Spiritist book. It calls Living in a Spiritual World. It was from the Spiritist Spirit Patricia, and she one of the chapter in the book says that we don't need to ask for anything, but to be a better person, but to be inspired to help the others, and to because we have our bad things. So if we try to improve and we ask, we have faith and ask and pray to improve our qualities, right? I think the word would be better.
Absolutely. We should ask for what we need, not for what we.
Want, right? Or wish. Yeah, we have another question here. Paul is asking, is faith the opposite of reason? I think Rodrigo is having some problem with his internet, so we can wait a little bit. He's gonna be back. Yeah, sorry. I think he lost his connection. But now we are gonna move on for our spiritual treatment. But I would like to thank you, Rodrigo Rod, for his presentation. Um, PASS is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Passes help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the pass, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. We will now make our prayer in preparation for the Pass, which will be our closing prayer as well. So once again, I would like to ask everyone to close our eyes and join me on this prayer. Dear God, once again, we would like to thank you for your love and your mercy. May we can practice all day tonight learnings and be a humble spirit in our lives. We ask for the good spirits to stay with us during this treatment, and may we can get everything we need. May your pure example inspire us to love our neighbors no matter what. We ask your love to be spread all over planet Earth so that we may have a more peaceful world. Please bless our week and our steps, helping us to be a better person. Once again, thank you for everything you have done for us. And please stay with us today and always. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The Pass begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts,
freeing us from all evil, and freeing all whom we have caused evil into, and who have caused us evil. Washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the Pass. Thank you, God.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Conference Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. Have a good night.
Wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody's alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are.
time.